Amazing audience, we are live again. Let me get this first. So we are recording from Mouth Media Network Studios in New York. You should check out the great show about podcasting industry, The Word from Mouth, on iTunes at mouthpodcast.com and wherever the best podcasts are found. Amazing stuff. They've made this space available for us, right? Very, very appreciative. Very, very appreciative. Yeah. People that do these types of stuff, like, I give them full big up, as we say in Trinidad, thank you so much, because it's New York. I mean,
supposedly a big deal.
It is.
I don't know why people think that. It's just a city.
Yuri, I'll tell you, just doing this is fascinating to me. Just being able to do that, from
same for me, my
having
friend.
you on the podcast to now audio only. Even though you did video for a bit, I was like, okay, we'll do audio only, right? Even though I did see you for a bit, but like seeing you face to face, it's absolutely fascinating to me.
So I'm the Wizard of Oz. No.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
So do tell me, what's up? Update us from then to now. What's going on?
So I think, as I mentioned to you before, you were the first podcast that I was on.
Yeah.
I just saw it on LinkedIn, and here I am. Since then, I've been on quite a few more, probably 30, 40,
Wow.
maybe even more. So thank you for giving me my start.
You're welcome.
Want to give you the big up for that.
I appreciate it.
Thankfully, my business, is really taken off
Yeah, that's good.
since then. So that's a good thing.
Tell us about your business.
Several, 3 legs, I would say. One is executive coaching, basically working with executives, let's say, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, whatever. They want to get the hell out.
Everyone seems to want to get out.
Yeah, no, because it's a highly regulated industry, compliance is a much bigger part of it. So people want to go and do something that they're really excited about, that they're connected to. It's not just about passion, it's about, who is this person, where are they going in life, and how do they get there? So I'm helping them build that bridge, first by helping them figure out, who am I, what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
And, my framework has kind of, deepened, and I've tested it on a number of, something like 300 clients by this point.
Wow.
So
that's great.
It's really it's taken on a life of its own, which thank God for that.
Yeah.
The other part of what I do is startup advising. I think since we spoke the first time, I've been an instructor in PR and media for a startup accelerator here in New York called 2020 Startups. So that's been an amazing opportunity. A lot of PR I've done for myself and for others as well. So that's another part of what I do. And then what I've done with those 2 first legs is I've taken that and turned it toward the corporate side of things, where let's say, hey, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, whoever, you're losing people, here's why. Because they're telling me this, right? I'm their coach. And if you want to keep them, this is what you have to do differently. And not just, good boy, well done, but you really have to change things structurally. You have to change your HR processes. You have to look at the whole experience of before they work for you until after they're out of there. How do you make sure to retain your investment in them? And the investment, of course, is in training and salary, bonus, benefits, perks, whatever. But it's much more than that, right? They represent your brand, and if you want them to represent your brand in a good way, you have to keep up that connection and constantly think, my catchphrase now is human first, resource second. And that obviously takes a lot of work for
human first, research second.
Resource.
Resource.
Yeah.
Oh, so human and resource, HR. All right. Wow. You're doing some amazing things, my friend.
Well, I love it. That's the key is, number one, you have to love what you do, and then, the other things follow.
Wow,
usually.
That's beautiful. So, I mean, like, when did the third concept pop up? That these people are losing people and they can do it my help. Where did that come from?
I think it's a very natural pivot because executive coaching is very much an up and down kind of thing. If you're very good at selling, even then, you're relying on someone who's comfortable. Maybe they're miserable, but they're comfortable sitting in a bank, making a lot of money and supporting their family, and you're trying to make them feel the pain strongly enough so that they can work with you and make that transition to tech, let's say. So it's a tough sell. When you go to corporations and you do that you turn that around and help people stay and build a culture, that's much more long-term. Corporations obviously are much more willing to invest a lot more money in that because they have the resources.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That's really it.
Wow. Where can people connect with you?
YuriKruman.com, YURIKRUMAN. That's my coaching. That's more, I would say, consulting and speaking. The coaching part is my company, MasterTheTalk.com.
Wonderful. MasterTheTalk.com. That's great. One of the segments we are covering is your own unique real shoes. I see you're wearing some really nice sneakers. Yeah.
Yep.
And that speaks to individuals who have seen your shoes and said exactly that, right? Wow, nice shoes, nice Yuri, nice life, right? But not seen the struggles that have led up to this place where you are. Please do share some struggle that you're having or that you've had over the last few years.
Let's see, number one, wouldn't wish this on anybody, but sometimes, from above, that's what you get. When I was about 2 months into the business, I think this was probably a few months before we spoke, our youngest daughter, who was 2 months then, she was diagnosed with cancer. So, just started a business, I just trying to build something, basically my wife has a corporate job, she has to go back, so we just decided at that point that I'm going to stay home and build my coaching business and take the kid to the hospital and just take care of her. And what that does, obviously, if it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger, kind of thing. But it helped me at least to be very clear about who I am and where I'm going and why does my business need to be successful. And that kind of intense focus and just this has to not just survive but thrive, because this is not just my livelihood but my family's and everything else. So that kind of thing, I think, is in a way one of the strongest forces that propelled me to where I am today. It's really do or die.
Yeah.
And in a way, I mean, I don't know, my shoes, I like my shoes because they're sneakers but they're leather. So in a way it's kind of both worlds. I inhabit both worlds of kind of something more formal, corporate, and more, sneakers at the same time, because I'm getting people to go from corporate to tech and doing things that they love. So I guess if you want to dig too deep into what shoes I'm wearing.
I like that. I like to go deep, right?
You know it.
That's amazing. Wow. I'm my friend. So you've told us how we can connect with you, right? You've told us about your struggles. When you heard that this Caribbean guy that you spoke to way back when was coming to meet you face to face, what did you think?
I thought, that's pretty awesome. I never get to do that. How many times have I think I've done one podcast that was actually in person.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these people are in New York.
Yeah.
And I've met maybe one other person on whose podcast I was, but it's much more meaningful in a way when you meet someone and it's not just a voice in the wilderness somewhere else, So I really appreciate you coming up here. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I don't know of too many people that not only would take on such a long project and complete it and do a second round. So I really salute you for what you're doing, how you're doing it, even more importantly, and I wish you only success.
I appreciate that. I do believe you mean that.
You know it.
And the thing is, I have your eyes to prove it. I can't say
everything else. The shoes don't tell the story. The eyes do.
The eyes
You're
do.
absolutely right.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Face to face is beautiful. Tell people where they can reach out again to you. But more so, in fact, you did that a few times. Well, do it twice because it's important to do that twice, yeah?
Sure. So as I mentioned, YuriKruman.com or MasterTheTalk.com, or just reach out directly by email, Yuri@MasterTheTalk.com.
Do you have any regrets?
No. No. There's no way I could live with regrets.
What are you excited about?
I'm writing a book, which should be out beginning of next year.
Bestseller.
Amen.
I'm calling it.
Amen. What millennials really want from work and life.
Makes sense.
And that kind of fits into this, consulting on a wider basis.
Yeah, it runs across the three as well. Yeah. I mean, I could see corporate saying, okay, let's get into this book, right? Let's see what they really want.
Exactly.
That's great. You're a great pleasure, my friend.
Thank you so much.
What is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you.
Boom.